the annals of scientific history, some names evoke a mixture of awe and apprehension. Ilia Ivanov is one such figure. A Russian biologist of remarkable skill, Ivanov's expertise in artificial insemination earned him international acclaim. His success with animal hybrids, such as the Zedonk and Zubron, fueled his ambition to push the boundaries of biological possibility. The allure of creating a hybrid creature, one that blurred the lines between humans and their closest relatives, became an irresistible challenge for Ivanov. Ivanov's quest to create a human-ape hybrid would become a testament to the boundless potential and inherent dangers of scientific ambition. The Soviet Union in the 1920s was a nation brimming with revolutionary fervor and an unyielding belief in the transformative power of science. Under the iron rule of Joseph Stalin, the pursuit of scientific advancement became deeply intertwined with the ideological goals of the regime. The Bolsheviks, eager to showcase the superiority of Soviet science and dismantle religious dogma, saw in Ivanov's audacious proposal an opportunity to make a bold statement on the world stage. The Soviet government, known for its ambitious and often ruthless pursuit of scientific progress, saw Ivanov's proposal as an opportunity to demonstrate their commitment to pushing the boundaries of knowledge. The potential propaganda value of a successful human-ape hybrid, a living testament to the power of Soviet science, was simply too tempting to resist. Moreover, the experiment aligned with the regime's atheistic ideology, offering a chance to further undermine religious beliefs about the unique origins of humanity. Driven by a potent mixture of ideological zeal and scientific curiosity, the Soviet government granted Ivanov unprecedented support for his controversial endeavor. Funding was secured, resources were allocated, and bureaucratic obstacles were swept aside with surprising ease. Ivanov's journey to French Guinea in 1926, a time when travel restrictions for Soviet citizens were incredibly strict, underscored the government's unwavering commitment to his project. In February 1926, armed with government funding and unwavering determination, Ilia Ivanov embarked on a journey that would forever etch his name in the annals of scientific controversy. His destination was French Guinea, a distant land teeming with chimpanzees. The primates, he believed, held the key to unlocking the secrets of human evolution. Ivanov's mission was clear: to artificially inseminate female chimpanzees with human sperm, a radical experiment that challenged the very definition of what it meant to be human. Ivanov's quest, however, was met with a mixture of fascination and revulsion from the international scientific community. While some admired his audacity and scientific rigor, many condemned the ethical implications of his work. The idea of creating a hybrid creature, one that blurred the lines between human and animal, struck a nerve in a world still grappling with the implications of Darwin's theory of evolution. Undeterred by the controversy swirling around him, Ivanov pressed on with his experiments. The challenges were immense. The logistics of capturing and inseminating chimpanzees in a remote part of Africa were daunting, and The cultural sensitivities surrounding his work added another layer of complexity. Yet, driven by his unwavering belief in the scientific merit of his endeavor, Ivanov remained undeterred, pushing the boundaries of both scientific exploration and ethical boundaries. The Soviet Union, under Joseph Stalin's rule, was a nation forged in the crucible of revolution, its identity inextricably linked to the utopian ideals of Marxism-Leninism. Science, perceived as a potent tool for societal transformation, was elevated to an almost sacred status. Stalin's regime invested heavily in scientific research, recognizing its potential not only to propel the nation's economic and military might, but also to shape the very fabric of Soviet society. Within this context of fervent scientific exploration, however, lurked a darker undercurrent. The pursuit of scientific progress was often intertwined with the regime's totalitarian grip on power. Scientific inquiry was not merely encouraged, it was often dictated by the ideological imperatives of the state. Dissenting voices within the scientific community were silenced, and research deemed incompatible with Marxist-Leninist doctrine was ruthlessly suppressed. This climate of both fervent scientific ambition and ideological control created a complex and often contradictory landscape. On one hand, Soviet scientists enjoyed a level of state support and resources virtually unimaginable in other parts of the world. On the other hand, they were constantly navigating the treacherous terrain of ideological conformity, acutely aware that scientific endeavors deemed ideologically suspect could have dire consequences. Central to the Soviet project was the creation of a new Soviet man, an individual embodying the communist ideals of collectivism, selflessness, and unwavering loyalty to the state. This ambitious social engineering project extended far beyond mere propaganda and indoctrination. It sought to fundamentally reshape human nature itself. Science, with its perceived power to manipulate the building blocks of life, held a unique allure for those tasked with forging this new socialist utopia. Ivanov's experiments, with their audacious goal of blurring the lines between humans and apes, must be understood within this broader context. The creation of a hybrid creature, one that transcended traditional biological categories, could be interpreted as a powerful symbol of humanity's malleability, its susceptibility to scientific manipulation. Such a feat, if successful, would have provided compelling evidence for the Soviet claim that science could be harnessed to create a new and improved version of humanity. The allure of the human-ape hybrid extended beyond its symbolic value. Some Soviet thinkers saw in such a creature the potential for practical applications. A hybrid being possessing both human intelligence and ape-like strength could be a valuable asset in the vast and unforgiving landscapes of the Soviet Union. These hypothetical human Zs could be deployed in arduous construction projects, hazardous industrial work, or even military operations, their physical prowess surpassing that of any ordinary human. Ivanov's experiments, driven by scientific curiosity and ideological zeal, intersected with the dark history of eugenics. This pseudo-scientific movement aimed to improve human populations through selective breeding, it gained traction worldwide, driven by scientific racism and social Darwinism. Advocates pushed for forced sterilization and genocide to create a superior race. The Soviet Union condemned eugenics as capitalist, yet some ideas persisted. The drive to create a new Soviet man shared similarities with eugenic thought. Ivanov's work on human primate hybrids reflected anxieties and aspirations of eugenics. News of Ivanov's audacious experiments quickly found its way into the international media, igniting a firestorm of controversy. The notion of a human-ape hybrid captured the public imagination, sparking both fascination and revulsion. The Soviet Union found itself at the center of a global debate about the limits of scientific inquiry. Some hailed Ivanov as a visionary, a scientific pioneer pushing the boundaries of knowledge. Others condemned Ivanov's experiments as morally reprehensible, a monstrous transgression against the natural order. The legacy of Lysenkoism, a cautionary tale of science and power. Lysenko, aligning with Stalin, rejected Mendelian genetics for Lamarckian inheritance. His pseudoscience found favor with Stalin, leading to disastrous consequences. Scientists were silenced, and genetics research halted for decades. This serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of political interference in science. The quest to prove human evolution. Ilia Ivanov's quest to create a human-ape hybrid was deeply intertwined with Darwin's theory of evolution. Darwin's ideas were still fiercely contested by those who saw them as a threat to religious dogma. Ivanov saw his experiments as a way to provide proof of humanity's evolutionary kinship with primates. A human-ape hybrid would have been a powerful vindication of Darwin's theory of common descent. Beyond curiosity, the practical applications of a human-ape hybrid. Ivanov's fascination with human evolution was not the sole driving force behind his work. The Soviet Union was keenly interested in the practical applications of scientific discoveries. Ivanov emphasized the potential benefits of his research, arguing that a human-ape hybrid could be a valuable asset. These hybrids, with human intelligence and ape-like strength, could perform tasks too dangerous for humans. They could be deployed in mines, forests, or construction sites, their physical resilience exceeding that of any human laborer. Their ability to withstand harsh conditions would make them invaluable in the Soviet Union. The allure of artificial insemination, pushing the boundaries of reproductive science. Ivanov's experiments cannot be fully understood without considering the broader context of artificial insemination in the early 20th century. Ivanov, a pioneer, saw in this technology the potential to transcend natural reproduction, creating new forms of life. By artificially inseminating female chimpanzees with human sperm, Ivanov sought to bypass natural mechanisms. His experiments reflected a broader fascination with the power of science to reshape human life. A scientific gamble, the high stakes and uncertain outcomes of Ivanov's quest. Ivanov's quest to create a human-ape hybrid was a scientific gamble fraught with uncertainty and ethical dilemmas. the genetic differences between humans and chimpanzees raised serious doubts. Even if a hybrid embryo were created, its survival was slim. Ivanov's experiments raised profound ethical questions. Despite the high stakes, Ivanov remained undeterred. His experiments stand as a testament to human curiosity and a cautionary tale of ethical considerations. The journey to French Guinea, a scientific expedition to the heart of Africa. In 1926, Ilia Ivanov embarked on a journey to French Guinea, a colonial outpost on the western coast of Africa. His destination, the Pasteur Institute's newly established primate research center. French Guinea, with its dense rainforests and abundant primate populations, was ideal for Ivanov's research. The journey itself was arduous, fraught with delays and logistical hurdles. Upon arriving, Ivanov faced the challenges of navigating a foreign colonial system. Despite these challenges, Ivanov approached his task with characteristic zeal. The challenges of interspecies insemination, overcoming biological barriers. At the heart of Ivanov's experiment lay a formidable scientific challenge, overcoming the biological barriers that typically prevent interspecies breeding. While humans and chimpanzees share a remarkable degree of genetic similarity, their evolutionary lineages diverged millions of years ago, leading to significant differences in their reproductive anatomy and physiology. These differences, while subtle, are profound enough to prevent the natural conception of a human-ape hybrid. Artificial insemination, a technique in which sperm is collected from a male and artificially introduced into the reproductive tract of a female, offered a potential way to bypass these biological barriers. However, AI itself was still a relatively new and evolving field in the 1920s, and its application to interspecies breeding was fraught with uncertainty. The success rates for AI in humans were still relatively low, and the challenges of adapting these techniques to chimpanzees were considerable. Ivanov's meticulous notes and research papers from this period reveal a scientist grappling with these challenges head-on. He experimented with different methods for collecting and preserving chimpanzee sperm, exploring ways to maximize its viability and motility. He carefully studied the reproductive cycles of female chimpanzees, trying to pinpoint the optimal time for insemination. His dedication to overcoming these technical hurdles underscores his unwavering belief in the scientific merit of his endeavor. The search for willing participants, navigating cultural sensitivities and colonial constraints. Ivanov faced a delicate challenge, finding human female volunteers for his experiment. The notion of a human-ape hybrid was deeply taboo in the 1920s. Finding willing women in French Guinea proved insurmountable. His attempts met resistance from both the women and French authorities. The power dynamics and ethical complexities made it impossible to secure informed consent. I shift in strategy from French Guinea to Georgia. Ivanov shifted his focus to Georgia, seeking fewer obstacles and a supportive environment. Georgia's climate and research tradition offered promise for his experiments. The Soviet government approved his proposal for an ape nursery in Abkhazia. The nursery became a focal point for primate research, attracting scientists. It also sparked scientific controversy and ethical debate. The Abkhazian Ape Nursery, a breeding ground for controversy. The Abkhazian Ape Nursery, established in the late 1920s, quickly became a focal point for primate research in the Soviet Union. Under Ivanov's leadership, the facility grew to house a diverse collection of apes. However, the nursery also attracted its share of controversy, as rumors of Ivanov's attempts to create human-ape hybrids began to circulate. The notion of a human-ape hybrid captured the public imagination, sparking both fascination and revulsion. The Abkhazian Ape Nursery found itself at the center of a growing ethical storm. The unraveling of a dream, setbacks, suspicions, and the fall of Ivanov. Despite the Soviet government's initial support for Ivanov's research, the tide began to turn against him in the early 1930s. A series of setbacks, both scientific and political, conspired to undermine his position within the Soviet scientific establishment. The Abkhazian Ape Nursery, once a symbol of Soviet scientific ambition, became a liability, a reminder of the regime's willingness to condone ethically questionable research in the pursuit of scientific progress. Ivanov's hybridization experiments, though shrouded in secrecy, were not without their critics within the Soviet Union. Some scientists questioned the scientific validity of his research, arguing that the genetic differences between humans and apes were simply too great to overcome. Others expressed ethical concerns about the treatment of the apes involved in the experiments and the potential consequences of creating a human-ape hybrid. These criticisms, though initially muted, gained traction as the political climate within the Soviet Union shifted. By the early 1930s, Stalin's grip on power had tightened, and the regime's tolerance for dissenting voices within the scientific community had waned. Ivanov, once a celebrated figure within the Soviet scientific establishment, found himself increasingly isolated, his work viewed with suspicion by those in power. The moral status of animals, a question of dignity and respect. Ivanov's experiments ignited a firestorm of controversy that continues to resonate today. The use of primates in scientific research remains a deeply contentious issue. Do our closest living relatives deserve moral consideration beyond their usefulness to science? Can we justify subjecting sentient beings to invasive procedures in the name of scientific progress? Ivanov's experiments stand as a stark reminder of human cruelty in the pursuit of knowledge. The ethical implications of Ivanov's work extend far beyond the suffering of a few dozen chimpanzees. What responsibilities do we have to the other creatures with whom we share this planet? Tampering with the essence of humanity, the peril of blurring boundaries. The notion of a human-ape hybrid has long occupied a place of both fascination and horror. From ancient myths to modern science fiction, we question what it means to be human. Ivanov's experiments force us to confront the unsettling possibility of blurring the lines that define our humanity. Advances in biotechnology bring us closer to creating human-animal chimeras. We must proceed with caution, guided by ethical understanding and respect for human lineage. Scientific hubris and the illusion of control, the unforeseen consequences of tampering with nature. Ivanov's quest to create a human-ape hybrid is a cautionary tale about the dangers of scientific hubris. Driven by ambition and ideological zeal, Ivanov embarked on a path fraught with ethical perils. The history of science is filled with well-intentioned research yielding disastrous consequences. From DDT ravaging ecosystems to CFCs tearing a hole in the ozone layer, tampering with nature can have far-reaching effects. Ivanov's experiments remind us of the need for humility in the face of nature's complexity. As we venture into genetic engineering, the potential for both benefits and risks grows. Manipulating life demands caution and ethical consideration. Ivanov's legacy is a stark reminder to proceed with wisdom and respect for life. Colonialism, scientific racism, and the pursuit of knowledge. Ivanov's experiments marked by colonialism and scientific racism cannot be divorced from their historical context. Scientific knowledge has often justified oppression and exploitation. Ivanov's work in French Guinea highlights the complicity of science in colonialism. His recruitment of African women underscores ethical transgressions in scientific ambition. Colonialism's legacy of exploitation casts a long shadow. Scientific progress must respect dignity and autonomy for all. The enduring ethical dilemmas of biotechnology. Lessons learned and the path forward. Ivanov's experiments still resonate today, raising complex ethical dilemmas in biotechnology. Advances in genetic engineering and synthetic biology present unprecedented opportunities and profound ethical questions. The power to edit the human germline and create life from scratch fills us with awe and apprehension. These technologies can alleviate suffering, but also raise concerns about genetic inequality and commodification of life. Ivanov's experiments remind us to proceed with wisdom, humility, and ethical reflection. The path forward requires ongoing dialogue between scientists, ethicists, policymakers, and the public. The improbable hybrid navigating genetic chasms. From the outset, Ivanov's quest to create a human-ape hybrid faced a formidable and arguably insurmountable obstacle: the vast genetic chasm separating humans from their closest primate relatives. While it's true that humans and chimpanzees share a remarkable degree of genetic similarity, their evolutionary paths diverged millions of years ago, leading to significant differences in their genetic makeup. These differences, though often subtle and invisible to the naked eye, have profound implications for the viability of interspecies hybrids. The human genome, a vast library of genetic information encoded within our DNA, contains roughly 3 billion base pairs, the fundamental building blocks of our genes. Chimpanzees, our closest living relatives, possess a genome remarkably similar in size and structure. However, even seemingly small differences in genetic code, a single base pair substitution, a missing or duplicated gene, can have cascading effects on an organism's development, physiology, and ultimately its viability. In the case of humans and apes, millions of years of independent evolution have resulted in a multitude of genetic differences, some subtle, some profound, that collectively create a formidable barrier to interspecies hybridization. These differences can manifest in a myriad of ways, from incompatible reproductive anatomies to immune system rejections to developmental abnormalities that prevent a hybrid embryo from developing to term. Ivanov, despite his expertise in artificial insemination, could not overcome these fundamental biological barriers. The chimera's burden, a cascade of health and developmental risks. Even if Ivanov had succeeded, the resulting chimera would likely face a cascade of health and developmental challenges. Interspecies hybrids often suffer from debilitating conditions due to genetic discordance. One common problem is infertility. The intricate dance of meiosis often fails in hybrids, leading to non-viable gametes. This biological incompatibility renders hybrids sterile. Hybrids also suffer from physical and developmental abnormalities. These include skeletal deformities, organ dysfunction, and immune deficiencies. The challenges of interspecies hybridization are not merely accidental byproducts of genetic divergence. They are, in many ways, intentional safeguards put in place by the very forces of evolution to maintain the integrity and stability of species over time. Natural selection, the driving force of evolution, favors individuals best suited to survive and reproduce within their specific ecological niche. Hybrids, often poorly adapted to the environments of either parent species, face a significant disadvantage in the struggle for survival. Over millions of years, species evolve a suite of reproductive isolating mechanisms, both physical and behavioral, that prevent interbreeding and maintain the boundaries between species. These mechanisms can be as simple as differences in mating seasons or courtship rituals, or as complex as incompatible reproductive anatomies or genetic incompatibilities that prevent the formation of viable offspring. These evolutionary safeguards, while not insurmountable, create formidable obstacles to the creation of viable and fertile interspecies hybrids. They are a testament to the power of natural selection to shape the diversity of life on Earth, ensuring that species remain distinct and well suited to their environments. Ivanov's experiments, though fueled by a desire to transcend these boundaries, ultimately highlighted the resilience of nature's design and the challenges of manipulating the fundamental processes of life beyond failure. The enduring allure and ethical perils of the impossible. Ivanov's quest to create a human-ape hybrid, though unsuccessful, fascinates and unsettles us. It reminds us of our boundless curiosity and relentless pursuit of knowledge. But it also highlights the ethical perils of unchecked scientific ambition. The allure of the impossible is a recurring theme in human history. From ancient myths to modern human enhancement, we are captivated by creating life forms beyond our experience. Ivanov's experiments illustrate the ethical dilemmas and scientific uncertainties we face. As we venture into genetic engineering and synthetic biology, these ethical questions gain urgency. We must proceed with caution, humility, and a deep commitment to ethical reflection. A legacy shrouded in controversy. Ilia Ivanov's quest to create a human-ape hybrid ended in failure, thwarted by biological barriers, political tides, and ethical condemnation. His legacy remains a cautionary tale of unchecked scientific ambition, the complex interplay of science and ideology, and the ethical responsibilities of those who seek to unravel life's mysteries. Ivanov's experiments left an indelible mark on science, sparking debates about animal experimentation and interspecies breeding. The enduring questions. Ivanov's experiments raise ethical questions that resonate today. Advances in biotechnology bring us closer to manipulating life. Gene editing and cloning offer opportunities and ethical concerns. The ability to synthesize life presents unprecedented opportunities. Yet, these technologies raise concerns about unintended consequences. They may exacerbate social inequalities. Ivanov's quest forced us to confront unsettling questions. These questions are urgent in an era of tangible scientific power. Ivanov's experiments remind us to temper scientific pursuit with ethics. In the age of CRISPR and synthetic biology, ethical dilemmas have renewed urgency. We face the possibility of creating human-animal chimeras and editing the human germline. These powers demand caution, humility, and ethical reflection. Ivanov's legacy reminds us that scientific knowledge must include ethical considerations. As we explore 21st century biotechnology, we must respect the sanctity of life. Our choices and values shape the future of biotechnology. Ivanov's story is a lesson in guiding scientific progress with respect for all life.